Hey class, how are you? I am Professor Kevin Marks. I wanted to reach out and welcome you to this awesome class. So welcome. We will be starting this class officially here in a couple days. So I just wanted to introduce myself. And I also wanted to take a minute here and just share with you our online structure with Canvas. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to share the screen. So let me go ahead and click on this, and now we should be off and rolling. This is your class. This is our class, and I just wanted to show you the general overview of this course. If you look in or at the far left hand column right here, it says home, syllabus, modules, grades, digital library, student services. You have all that stuff for you right there. The course is organized into modules. You have a couple of introductory modules, and a module is really just a cluster of information in a very structured way. We have orientation. This is information for you should you have any questions on Canvas or anything in general relative to campus-wide dates, calendars, and such. That is all right here. I wanted to take just a minute here and explain and really just show you the technical support. And what I mean by that is if you have any questions or you have any issues that come up, such as you're unable to manage Canvas, something's not downloading, you can't click on it, you can't access it, those questions are directed towards our technical support team. Those are not directed towards me. And so you want to contact me for content related questions regarding this course and not technical questions. And so if you have any technical questions, you're going to click right here where it says getting technical support. You just click on that. And here is the information that you will need to go ahead and contact the individuals. And or you can look at the different guides that we have that could even speed up the process a little bit in terms of troubleshooting some of the problems that you might have. All right, so let me go ahead and go back. That's the first thing. So any technical issues, just contact those individuals. To contact me now, if you have any content related questions, logistical or administrative questions, then you go to right there, contact Professor Marks, and you have all of my information there, email, office, even social media handles. And so that is for you. Just wanted to show you where that is. And all this is located within the orientation module. So I would still strongly encourage you to work your way through this, starting with Welcome to Fall, peruse through that, and then just click on next and work your way all the way through down here. And then we have specifically the welcome module for this course, Fitness for Life. Now, this is certainly some things that you want to look at and not necessarily just peruse through, but really look at it with some detail. So what you're going to need to do is go through these, look through these, and even it says right here, for example, syllabus quiz. Before you take that, however, you're going to want to look through and at the syllabus. So that's the one little preference that, or really something that you want to work on before you actually complete that quiz. And then introduce yourself. And then, so this is just some general information for you, things you'll need to complete in the first 3 days. I'll circle back to that in just a little bit here. And another area that we have for communication in the welcome section for this course specifically is a collaboration cafe. You click on that, and this is strictly between student to student. And so this is a good place to network, to collaborate, to ask any questions that you might have regarding any assignments. A lot of times it's students communicating with each other, student to student, that you're able to solve a lot of problems. And so if you want to do that, I would strongly encourage you to post your questions right here, or really just to reach out to network, build some relationships when it comes to your academic journey. So that is that right there, the collaboration cafe, student to student interaction. I will not be checking that at all. I don't navigate or facilitate any discussions. That's strictly for you, the student. So that's really these are the two welcome modules at the very top, the two welcome modules. And then we have the main sections based on units below that I'll show you in just a minute. So that's all really in modules. Okay, so let me just go back here to home. This is what our home page looks like for the course. Very similar here. You can just kind of look through this yourself. There's many ways to get to different parts of the course, but start at home. And then briefly here, I want to just explain the syllabus. So after you just kind of look at the home page and you're going through, and might seem like a lot, and it can be overwhelming at times, but just kind of look through the home page at first, and then I'll guide you through the specific areas that you're going to want to look at. So there are course details, policies, all these different tabs. That's one way of looking at it, or you can just go all the way down. Okay, all the way down to all of our assignments within this course and the due dates that they're posted within. So let me go back up top. So this is the home, the syllabus, or that was a syllabus. And so again, I want to stick with the syllabus here. This is where you can find information about me. I'm definitely not going to cover all this right now, but this is some information on me, my professional, personal, and athletic background, since this is a fitness and lecture and lab course. I have all that for you. The course details are right here, the outline, objectives, all that good stuff. And then this is the textbook that is required. You want to get that, you should have that already. So it's right there for you. You can get that online, and you can get that through our campus textbook store or bookstore. So scroll all the way down. This is really just the course information. We'll go back up here. Course policies. The one thing I want to talk about with course policies is really just the late work policy that we have. And so what we would do here is, let me go to grading policies. So you can go ahead and review course policies in terms of how much time is allocated to this course and general courses in nature. Grading policies. So really the whole course is pretty structured around all this. So a lot of detail for you right here, broken down into performance measures. And then the one thing, so that's pretty self-explanatory, but one thing I wanted to cover is this late work policy. Really important that you get your work in on time, so that obviously you're working mindfully and you're turning in quality work so that you're able to learn the material. But secondly is the fact that everybody, we want to make sure that we're respecting and honoring everybody's time. And so everybody in this course is required to have their work turned in on time. And so it's not really fair for individuals that turn in work late when other people got it turned in on time, and there's no deduction in points. And so first of all, we want to be as equitable as possible with everybody. So we want to get our work turned in on time. And then secondly, or thirdly, really, is with me, is that it takes a tremendous amount of time to go back and try to work a beat and a rhythm and a flow of grading material, because I read through everything that you write. And so having a due date allows me to go in after that due date and really focus and be mindful on that specific assignment. And so assignments coming in all different times and spots makes it definitely challenging. And again, like I said, it's also to be fair for you and to button up that management of your time so that you can get it in and you can learn the material in a very non-stressful way. So what does all that mean? Late work policy is for every day that the work is late, that there will be a 25% deduction. So I am totally accepting of late work and really understanding that things come up. With that, though, there still is a penalty. However, if you send me a message beforehand, knowing that you have something really important coming up that's an emergency, some sort of surgery or anything that's an emergency in nature, or it comes up after the fact, some kind of emergency that comes up, of course, we're going to work with you flat out. So I want to be clear with that. We're going to work with you when it comes to being flexible, flat out. However, when it comes to day in and day out, turning in work online for this online course, we still adhere to this policy right here. And so if there's no communication at all, then the system will automatically deduce, or let me go back on that, scratch that, it will reduce the points that you get 25% late every day. So just want to highlight that. I don't want to be, this is not to be punitive, but rather just more organizational and structural, so that you have a good understanding and an endpoint in which you would turn in things that also increases intrinsic motivation. So not to be punitive, but rather to be facilitative, so that you can work ahead. We call it front loading. So you're organizing your time the management of time and turning your things in at the appropriate date. So I want to cover that right there, late work policy. And then of course we have some other policies that you are required to work your way through. So that is the syllabus. The main component I want to share with you is to get the textbook. It's required and you should already have that. And then of course, understand the late work policy and then critical dates. All that is for you and your own reading. That is the syllabus. Let me click on modules right here. Okay. And the modules are really the nuts and bolts of the class. And so this is really how we break apart the chapters. They're organized really sequentially based on the chapters of your textbook and also the content that we're in. So we have, and I'm not going to go over every unit, but if we scroll down, we have unit 1 right there, all the way down for this course, we have 7 units. 7 units. Within every unit, pretty consistent, even though there's variety in there. You will have objectives in every unit, the main aims that we have. You will have an area and a section where I either have video lectures by me or written lectures by me and or other authority figures or professionals in this field, biomechanics, exercise physiology, nutritional science, and so forth, that provide the material. It's all right here. So within each module, section is to watch, read lectures would be below here. And then you have a second section within each module where it says turn in assignments below. So below this right here is where we have and house all of our assignments that you're going to be turning in. Now, definitely the suggestion is, of course, go and read, watch, or listen to the lectures. Very akin to coming to campus and going to a lecture. That would be done before you're going to go take a quiz or complete your assignment. So that's the strong suggestion there. And then, so at the end of every unit is a section right here called Unit 1 or unit whatever that you're in, questions, lecture notes, videos. You click on this right here, and this is where you post any content related questions that you might have for me or anything regarding the content in the class. You know, for example, how do I measure my heart rate? What are we talking about when we're talking about muscle structure and function, actin, myosin, cross bridges, just throwing out some stuff as an example. You're not understanding the content that's being presented in the lecture, whether it's written or video or audio, then you reach out to me. Instead of sending emails, I recommend you posting it right here. And when you post it, everybody will see it. And most likely other students will have the same question. Now, if you have questions that you don't want other students to read and you just want to really interact with me one-on-one, then you contact me on the email. Questions that you might have on logistical components of your grades, things of that nature. Of course, that is one-on-one. Send me a direct message on email and we can go from there. But this is really directed towards content related questions. And we would like to establish a dialogue with everybody. And so posting this, you will have me respond here. And then also some other students will hopefully jump in there and respond based on what they've learned and what they've sorted out based on the lecture, what they've watched, or the specific assignments. So that's the area that you go to regarding that. And that's really it when it comes to modules, because each module is structured in that manner that I just showed you. The next thing I want to show you, it's not even up here, but when I post my first announcement, it's going to be right below home, this home tab right here. Announcements are really important because I send an announcement out frequently, and every Monday morning from 7 o'clock to 8 a.m., I will post out the announcement for the weeks. That includes everything that we're going to be covering, assignments that are going to be due either this week or coming up thereafter. And so you certainly want to check announcements regularly. So in my classes, I use the announcement boards very consistently. Specifically, every Monday, I post a new announcement that relates to the unit we're in, assignments due, all those. And then, of course, I have additional announcements that I post throughout the week. So that is something that is definitely going to be something else that guides you, helps you to navigate your way through the content And so that it doesn't all become overwhelming, because this class for the most part is usually offered in compressed 8-week calendar structures. And so I really use announcements to really pull everything apart, to stay mindful and really target in on what we're covering right now. So that is a strong suggestion that you check those all the time. And then of course you have your grades right here that will be up to date. I'm pretty good with keeping those up to date, keeping things graded. And really that's all we have so far. And the last thing I want to share with you is on the